Today we're going to be building one of these dog bowl stands. Why? It really is a constant battle cleaning this mess up after every single meal. So as always, remember to tap that subscribe button down below and let's get into it. For this project, you'll only need a few items. Most importantly, the piece of wood you'll want to use. Then you'll need your dog bowls. I'll be using 2 food bowls and 1 large water bowl. I got these off of Amazon. And lastly, you'll need your 4 legs. And I'm using these hairpin legs. They had some amazing reviews on Amazon and weren't badly priced. I'll have a link down in the description below. For tools, you'll just need a jigsaw to cut the holes, a skill saw to cut the length of the platform, a drill, and some polyurethane. The first step is to measure out the placement of the bowls and legs so I can see how much board I'll actually need. And to do this, I'm just going to set everything on the board upside down, and I'll leave about a ½ inch between the bowls. Both ends of this board are in bad shape, so I'm measuring cuts on both ends. Now we can see how long the piece of wood needs to be, so I'll draw a line here to cut. Now I'm going to start measuring this out to get my center spot for the middle bowl and try to fit these other 2 bowls in symmetrically. Since you can't see the center dot with the bowl covering it up, I had to measure the width of the bowl and then use that measurement to find the perfect center. I'll set the bowls back on and trace around them. This line is now the maximum diameter I can cut before the bowls will fall through, so I'll need to bring this in about a ¼ inch. But I'll draw the other 2 dog food bowls first before I do that. Now keep in mind when doing this, it doesn't have to be a perfect circle as the lip of the bowls are going to be covering most of the hole. So here I am measuring the lip of the bowl so I can see how far to bring in the diameter. I actually saw this trick just the other day, so I thought I would give it a try. It kind of worked out, but it's not perfect. Now I'm just drilling out a few large holes here within the rings so I can fit my jigsaw blade. Well, looks like they fit. Now let's clean this up a bit. I'll start with 80 grit sandpaper and then give it a second sanding with 220 grit sandpaper. Now that spring is here, I'm having quite a bit of a bee problem out in the workshop, so I'm moving into the garage for the rest of this project. Although later on you'll see that it doesn't really help with the bees. I'm gonna go ahead and install these legs first, and then I'll flip it over and finish up with the clear coat. Now this wood was extremely dense, as I just said, so drilling in the screws was a little bit tricky at first. I really had to make sure I pre-drilled appropriately, so that's something I should be doing better anyway in the future. As I said before, I got these legs from this company on Amazon, and they're actually very sturdy. Let's see how much each of these weigh. So first let's start off with these 4 kitchen cabinet handles. Looks like they weigh 8.5 ounces. Now these forward legs weigh 2 pounds 7 ounces. Then it's time to really finish this thing up. So I'm going to just use a semi-gloss polyurethane because I like the natural color of this wood. If I were to be using a standard lumber from a hardware store, I would probably consider staining this first. I think a dark walnut would probably look good here. Then I'm gonna let this dry for a few hours before sanding it. Now that it's dry, I'll sand it slightly with a 220 grit sandpaper and then give it a second coat, and I'll probably end up doing a third coat since this will have dog water and slobber all over it. This came out way better than I could have expected. I wanted to do a live wood edge project for a while, so I started small with this, but next I'll probably do a coffee table or something like that in the future. Hit that subscribe button down below if you haven't already to show your support for free. If you have any questions on this project, drop them down in the comments below. I typically respond to all of them. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you on the next one. Okay.